This year, there's been a lot of chit-chat
from patriots
about merit, particularly in the discussion about DEI. The diversity initiatives and workplace discrimination somehow go against the notion of merit. It doesn't, even if you're white. DEI hires white people too. The patriots simply only care about merit for white people, apparently, and simultaneously fall for the worst propaganda you've ever seen in your life. If you were to actually care about merit, you would advocate for anti-discrimination in workplaces. So what is a meritocracy exactly? A society based on merit? Yeah. Oh, it's in the name. So actually purely based on merit, and therefore a society that doesn't discriminate based on background? So if discrimination clearly still exists in a country that did nothing to repair slavery, that must mean capitalism is a meritocracy? Systemic racism, discrimination, and how white supremacy dictates so much of the country is actually a huge reason why the United States is not a meritocracy. But look at all the scholars we have in the White House. And billionaires like Elon Musk?
Come on, dude.
Take a look at how smart and impactful the music industry is. The music industry is in such a good place and led by stable geniuses. Yeah, that totally doesn't prove my point. Continued subjugation of marginalized communities, and especially eliminating DEI, which allowed for more opportunities, means qualified professionals from historically marginalized communities receive less opportunities. And if you really cared about merit, you would provide more opportunities for those who have a more difficult time finding opportunities. But capitalism doesn't give a fuck about merit. The United States doesn't care about merit. Republicans definitely don't care about merit. And neither do Democrats. Sure, some people make it, but the journey to that does not need to be so arduous and cruel. And making it to a place of comfort and fulfillment should not mean that in the meantime you struggle to meet basic needs in healthcare, shelter, and food. The removal of DEI initiatives is just one action in a long line of policies stifling working professionals. Every business's pay structure and chain of command is an obvious example. Who does all of the manual labor? Bottom of the chain, right here. So people at the bottom of the chain provide most of the labor for the company. And people at the top of the chain receive the most pay while doing the least amount of labor. Tell me how exactly that's merit-based at all. If we really cared about merit, we would allow the proletariat at the bottom of the chain to own their means of production, moving to the top of the chain collectively, eating the CEO at the top of Jib's neck. This is called socialism. I'm a socialist. Are you a socialist? I'm going to get rid of this before I annoy the shit out of you guys. Under socialism, people are rewarded for their labor, for their contributions to society. Teachers, janitors, waste management, and construction workers are seen as pivotal labor that holds society together, because they do. Like, I can't do any of that. I thought about being a teacher once until I realized I'd be a lot like Regina Hall's character in Scary Movie 3. And then I die from a haunted TV for $40,000 a year? No thanks. The value that someone like a teacher adds to the future of humanity should be what is rewarded most in society. That is merit. But instead, education is perpetually defunded in a capitalist, anti-intellectual government. With proper union funding and union organization in workplaces, laborers have democratic control of their work environment. Leadership is earned and democratically elected, not bought, and not a result of cronyism or nepotism. Profit does not determine your worth in socialism. Your labor value is not determined by scalability or squeezing profit out of others, but rather for quality and quantity and consistency, as well as meeting basic human needs, which capitalism does not address. And that is what it should mean to be a meritocracy. Education, healthcare, and your needs are also a right to come first in socialism, not something that only the privileged can afford. With universal schooling, everyone has access to industries and placement into industries. Instead of corporate gatekeeping, government facilitates work placement for people who were trained at a university in a specific expertise. Paying thousands of dollars for an education and then applying to jobs for well over a year doesn't exist in socialism. That, however, is a reality in capitalism, where new graduates struggle immensely to find work. In capitalism, we watch CEOs fail upward with high salaries, while vital workers are laid off or underpaid. And in the AI age, CEOs aren't just sitting back in their chairs while working class people suffer. They're also very clearly getting off to it. You would have to work 5 lifetimes just to make a CEO's annual salary. And trust me, they don't care about increasing your lifespan to make sure that happens either. Starbucks baristas make how many drinks per day? Deal with how many rude customers? While Howard Schultz was busy as a CEO trying to fend off worker unionization efforts, the man literally came out of retirement to union bust against workers that did more for the company than he ever did. Hey, Howard. It's Janine. Yeah, no big deal. Just calling to tell you. Yeah, just calling to tell you that the Starbucks workers are unionizing. Yeah. Union busting? Oh, you don't say. Yeah. If you need another example, look no further than the man with a brain chip made from ketamine and apartheid minerals. Elon Musk has fired engineers that build concepts into reality, while all he virtually does is help design. Elon doesn't do any manual labor. He does a little bit of concept design, takes credit for all of it, and then destroys lives. And then has the nerve to force employees back to work during COVID. And union bust while also ignoring safety regulations, which can negatively impact the future careers of people who have worked at his companies. Elon, hey, how are you, dear? It's Janine. Well, I already know you know about the workers unionizing. Yeah, of course you do. Yeah. Elon, I can't understand you, dear. I can't understand you. You know, Elon, I have a good number for somebody, a real good rehab facility if you need it. Yeah. And of course, Tesla is riddled with the usual racial discrimination and harassment that many powerful people couldn't care less about. Jeff Bezos also contributes far less to Amazon than his employees do. Amazon warehouse and fulfillment centers work daily and nightly, long hours, ensuring products are organized, packaged, and delivered on time, while Jeff union busts at every chance. And while his drivers piss and bottles, let's not forget the 2018 patent they filed to have workers wear wristbands to keep them on task. Hey Jeff, hey, it's Janine. How are you, dear? Yeah, so I know you got this shock collar on me, and I just wanted to admit that I've been moonlighting for 2 other billionaires. Yeah. And I was hoping that you could maybe consider paying me some more so that I don't have to moonlight. Now don't. You can't gaslight a moonlighter, Jeff. Jeff? Oh. Okay, Jeff. Alright, that hurt. Okay. Jeff? Truly shocking. Thank you. They call me Max Dillon the way I get electrocuted at the Amazon warehouse facility. That's a Spider-Man reference for Electro. You know Electro? Thank you.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday.
There are many leftist examples throughout history which underline exactly why socialism is more true to merit. A litany of socialist voices and leaders led by rewarding merit throughout history. Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso, my fave, redistributed lands from feudal landlords to workers that worked on those farmlands and drove production. Wheat production in Burkina Faso rose 2 times what it was when workers were granted the lands they worked on based on merit and production. Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex does a great job of underlining how capitalism and patriarchy gatekeep opportunities. Former president of Uruguay, Jose Mujica, similarly to Sankara, gave farm workers the chance to earn a livelihood as workers. Mujica signed a decree in his time regulating the rights of rural employees to increase minimum wage, healthcare, and the right to unionize. The Soviet Union guaranteed employment with job placement. In Yugoslavia, worker collectives owned the means of their production, while employment came from collaboration between worker collectives, educational institutions, and unions. The very term meritocracy came from the 1958 book The Rise of the Meritocracy by Michael Young, which predicted a dystopian world very similar to our current world in 2034, where the ruling class would use the idea of merit to justify austerity and oppression. Sound familiar? Ultimately, it's incredibly obvious to me which system provides the most opportunity to those who work the most. A merit-based system provides equal opportunity and pathways to sustainable income. In late-stage capitalism especially, the majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, while billionaires profit more than ever and get to sit back in luxury. This current stage of capitalism was always inevitable. Meritocracy in capitalism has always been a myth. Meritocracy in capitalism will always be a myth because the system does not reward merit. Socialism, however, does reward merit. And because of that, socialism is the real meritocracy.